Today I'm gonna take you on a walk. It's early March, and as you can see, it is already brighter than usually at this time, which is really lovely. And lots of people are out here with their dogs. Well, my dog today is staying at home. It's too cold and too wet for him. So I decided to take an early morning walk here in the fields and maybe later on also here in the forest. Let's see what I can come up with today, which ideas. And this has been pretty much my routine for the last 2 years or so. I would be lying if I told you the exact time. But I've been able to bring at least 15,000 steps a day under my belt. And well, I stopped drinking last year in the summer. It's been 8 months now without any alcohol. And I lost 7 or 8 kilos just by not drinking and taking regular walks, sometimes 2 times, sometimes 3 times a day. And that makes all the difference. And sometimes at this time of the day, we can see deer here. Apparently there are boars here in the area as well. Personally, I haven't encountered any of them yet, and probably it's too late in the day for that, because once all the dogs are out, the boar will take flight into the forest. But this forest is quite huge, and it stretches on until the next highway. And there's a lot of wild animals in this forest. So sometimes in the morning, early in the morning like now, I'm lucky and I get to see some wild animals. But I think today it's pretty empty over here. But you can hear some dogs barking in the forest. I don't know if you can get that, but I can. Coming up to some people with dogs doing their early morning routine here. One of these hunting outlooks. And it's funny to think that in a couple of weeks I'm gonna be in Indonesia, and it's like at least 30 degrees more at this time of the day than it is here. And that right now I'm really to enjoy every ray of sunshine that I can get. Whereas over there, it's going to be as much in the shadow as possible, because it's going to be so hot, so humid and so hot. But honestly, my body is aching to be in the heat, aching. So this gives you an idea of the expanse of openness we have just behind our house here. And it might not be, the coolest or sexiest place on the planet, but it is quite okay if you just want to get out and enjoy a couple of meters of open space, fresh air, and basically being very, very undisturbed, because especially at this time of the day, during the week, you find very few people here. And for me, sometimes that's kind of a relief, being, with so many people all of the time. Usually, I really enjoy in the mornings taking a walk and being left alone, having the day and the path to my thoughts and my, creating a mind space, a virtual mind space, walking the fields, breathing fresh air and being in nature. So that makes a huge difference in my life and how I start my day. And believe me, there's very few things as satisfying as sitting down at 9:30, latest 10 o'clock at my desk, and already having achieved my move goal and knowing that every step I'm going to take after that is adding towards burning more calories, getting my cardio up and running, and just being really proactive with my life. So this is something I really enjoy doing. So now leaving the sunny field and moving towards the forest, and the rays of sunshine already do have some energy. It feels a bit warmer in the sunshine than it does here in the shadows, but it's normal. So out there, a little bit in the sunshine again, taking a different route, following the path here, and then going into the forest later on. But it is magnificent this early in the morning. And yeah. So let's see what this day has to bring to the table. And what we can make of it. Actually interesting, from here you can usually see the approach into Frankfurt Airport, which you can see here between the trees, an airplane. But it's probably too far in the distance for you guys to see that. And this also is an area where usually there are lots of deers eating their breakfast early in the morning, but I think for that I would have had to been here like 2 hours ago to really see these animals. So now finally closing up to the forest a bit more, while at the same time trying to soak up as many sun rays as possible. It is just still bloody cold. It's freezing. It's below 0 centigrade. What is that? 30 degrees Fahrenheit or less. So the sun really helps. But the temperature is really cold, and it's really freezing. I feel it in my throat. I feel it in my hands when I hold the camera. It is just like that. It is just like that still today. And you got the birds here. You got the hunting places, the stakeouts. You can hear a woodpecker. I'm not sure if you can hear that on camera, but there's a woodpecker. That's a sure sign of March, of spring coming around. The woodpeckers wouldn't be woodpecking if it wasn't spring already. So we have a good chance that, the really cold and dark days are over, and now it's getting brighter, but getting sunnier. We have a couple of really good days ahead of us. So it's all pointing in the right direction. I'm very positive. I'm in a very good mood. I'm very optimistic. That this will all work out just fine. So here we have another corral of trees where usually you can see a lot of deer on days when you're not too late, like I'm today. And now we're really approaching this little part of the forest, and let's see what we can discover here. As you can see, the sky is really blue. It's going to be blue. It's a very good blue for March. So everything looks quite positive. And you can hear the birds. Listen in. just saw movement here in the forest right ahead of me, but it could have been anything from a squirrel to a rabbit, probably too small for a deer. But anyway, I was just letting you soak in 1 minute of forest sounds, hoping that this would also make your day and help you relax a bit. And here we are. We had a forest fire a couple of years ago when it was really dry, and they took out all the dead trees here. So this is what nature, what wilderness around here looks like. I don't know if it counts for wilderness, but it's definitely nature. And here we are in the forest, and you can see a lot of tire marks on the ground here. And this is because they did some heavy forest work over the last couple of months here, and they took out a lot of dead trees. And somehow, the forest, it looks broken. It looks like after a war or, some kind of attack. I'll show you some of the paths later on. But really, they did a lot of work here in the forest, and probably it is for the good, for the better of the forest. But when you look at it, it looks like, rampaged or raped or whatever you want to call it. It's so aggressive, and it was so noisy, it was so bad, it was so loud. It was really shocking. The air is really good. It's really fresh, and it smells of, whatever the forest smells like. But it's really a nice way to start your day if you have the time and the chance wherever you live. Here you can see what they did. This used to be a very small path in before, and now you see this. You have all these holes and pots and stuff from the tire marks there, filled with water and probably now frozen. And it looked much worse before. I think it's already done since end of last year. But they took out a lot of trees, and they rampaged the forest in a very bad way. At least this is what it looked like to me. Yeah. So anyway, let's continue our journey here through the forest. And I'm telling you, it's not the right day to be in the forest. It's a day to be out on the fields, because there's a big difference whether you are in the shadows in the forest here or whether you are on a field in the sunshine. The rays already do have some energy. It's really amazing. Also here you can see, it looks like a heavily used road from all the tire marks and the heavy equipment that has been moved here. And it's a pity because it was much nicer before, and here as well. Well, and this is the path here on the left. This is the path where we just came from. And today usually I would do a bigger round. It would take longer, but today I'm really cold. And I have a lot of stuff to do at home, so I'm gonna take this one straight back home. Will take me around 20 minutes from here. And at the end of this road, literally at the light at the end of the tunnel, I'm gonna meet up with the fields again and some sunshine. And it's more bearable than here in the forest, where I'm predominantly in shadow. And it's really cold. It's really cold. Here you can see how heavily, decimated the forest is. There used to be trees everywhere, and now this is pretty empty, and you can still see, on the ground the the leftovers of the trees that they picked up. And there's a lot of wood stacked up here ahead of us. So these are all the trees that they were culling and cutting, and I don't know what they're gonna do with the wood. But it was heavy machinery, and it took a couple of weeks, and it was very noisy, and basically not very nice to be in the forest while they were cutting the trees and closing off roads, putting up signs saying your life is at danger beyond this point because of falling trees. And here you can also see they were cutting paths into the forest where they didn't used to be any pathways into the forest. So this has really been something going on here over the last couple of months, I think, preparing the forest for the next summer season. And as you might be aware, just like everywhere else around the globe, whether it's the fires in the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina right now, or whether it used to be, oh, there's a deer, look at that. There's a deer, how can I zoom in? There's a deer in the middle of, can you see that? Right there at the tip of my finger is a deer standing, and now it's shying away from us. Yeah. But anyway, I think they are preparing the forest for the next onslaught of a very dry and hot summer. Because as I mentioned before, we used to have wildfires just around the corner from here a couple of years ago when it was really hot and dry. And I don't know if lightning struck or, how the fire started actually. But I think all this preparation with all, look at that. And that's already, 10% of what used to be here, because they've been transporting the wood off already over the last couple of weeks. So what you can see here is just a little leftover of what was lying around here. And usually I would go deeper into the forest, We've been over there on the other side of the forest. But today I'm looking forward to being home and getting my work started. And maybe we can still see the deer here that was crossing the road somewhere here. But usually they are very good at hiding. And unless they are moving, it's impossible to spot them among the trees. So no trace of the deer here anywhere. Well, I don't know if you can relate to the feeling whenever I'm in the forest, like now, and I'm not really deep in the forest. Usually on my morning routines, I'm going much deeper into the forest, which again is not the right day to do today. But usually when I'm very deep in the forest, I have the feeling, I know that there are lots of deer and boars and rabbits and I don't know, other wild animals here. This is a natural reserve, so the animals here are protected. So I know that there are lots of animals here, and I always have that feeling that, they're watching me. They are looking at me, and they are standing still. They are not moving, so I won't be able to spot them among the trees. That's the feeling I have. So I continuously have that feeling that I'm being watched. And what I'm doing, and I'm not going to show it now into the camera, but I'm usually bringing a very, very dangerous hunting knife onto my itineraries through the forest because, nature has been taking over here since the lockdowns. The wild animals have increased. Everything has become more crazy. Look at this. This used to be a very small path, and they cut into it with a lot of these tires. Anyway, so usually I have that knife along with me because I never know what I would do if, one of these wild animals would attack me or try to get near me. So at least I like to have a really sharp blade on my body to defend myself, at least to give me that feeling not to attack, I'm not here to hunt, but at least to be able, to defend myself in case something should happen. I'm not talking about human beings attacking me in the forest. Luckily enough, this hasn't happened around here. So we're talking about a very peaceful, very quiet area. But look at this. Still a lot of wood here. But I'm talking about really animals attacking human beings, which has happened in the past around here somewhere. I've heard it on the radio. My daughter has heard it on the radio. So since then I decided I'm gonna bring something to defend myself in case I should find myself somewhere deep in the forest with a boar facing off. I don't want to be unprepared. So this is just for your information. And again, and you can't smell it, you can't breathe in this intoxicatingly nice fresh air, and it reeks of this wood, it reeks of trees. It's really nice. So I can only relay these pictures to you, but the air is really nice and the smell is amazing, but still you can see the destruction. And you see the empty spot here where a lot of wood used to rest, waiting to be picked up. And here you see the heavy skid marks of the tires in the floor. And the intersection has been ravaged. Look at that. Here, I mean, it looks like somewhere. But again, I guess that's just natural when you take care of the forest and try to prepare it for the next summer. Here, one of these lovely intersections. Actually, there's a little pond just behind here in this area. But again, for my today's morning routine, I'm cutting it short. I'm trying to get back home. Got a lot of things to do. Got a lot of progress to make today. I'm translating one of my books. I have to do a couple of other things. As I mentioned, gonna be heading off to Indonesia and need to prepare stuff. So on some days I'm just too driven to enjoy more than an hour in the morning in the forest, and gonna be gone now for nearly an hour over there in those fields and in the sunshine. So that's why I'm cutting it short, but it's very good to take you along with it, to take you along with me, and to give you an idea of a writer's morning routine and the thoughts that come into my mind when I'm just strolling through the forest. I mean, that's what thinkers, what philosophers have been doing, huh? Taking a walk, thinking, getting their thoughts connected. Pretty much what I'm doing here. So here we are again on the fields. We came from over there. I don't know if you can see the people in the middle of the fields. This is where we basically started our tour, at the very end of the fields in the distance. And now I'm going to take this little path here along the forest back to the house, even though this path has the disadvantage that it's mostly in the shadow at this time of day, and it's going to be fresh over there. But then again, this is the fastest and shortest way back to the house. And as mentioned, I got a lot of things on my plate today, lots of things that need to get done. So I'm up since 5:30 in the morning, so I've been doing a lot of stuff already. It's not like that I've been lazy or anything, but I have the feeling the number of tasks never gets less, and there's always something that you can do, always something that you can move forward. So this pressure is actually, it's my own pressure. No one is telling me, but it's me telling me, I need to get the translation of the Bali affair done. I need to reach out to people in Jakarta I want to have a meeting with. I need to contact the hotels. There's so many things that need to, just get done. And there's some research involved. There's some downtime involved, and then, so Anyway, taking this path back home. It's one of these houses in the distance here. You can't actually see it from here, but it's very close to the edge of the forest. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed these initial impressions of the day and that it brightens up your day as well. So if I haven't said that already, if you like what you see, feel free to subscribe, to comment, to share, to help me grow this channel. The more growth I have, the easier it will be, to share my point of view with you guys and to hopefully bring some joy and information, infotainment to your lives in the future. So feel free to hit that subscribe button, like, and enjoy the videos. Let's see if we get any reaction from my dog when we come home. Where is he? Oh, Polly, you're on the bed. Oh my God, you're on the bed. Oh my God, that's so cute. What are you doing on the bed? I thought you were waiting here for me, jumping up and down like crazy. Instead, you're a sleepyhead.